Okay, I am live and set up and ready to roll. Hey, Tammy. Okay. Alrighty. So, I'm just gonna wait a second here, and then we'll get started. I see people are starting to come on now. Okay. All right. So, what we're doing today is I'm going to show you how to use the Endless Loom bracelet system. Let's see here. Still have the box. And hey, Carol. Hi, Nancy. Am I enjoying my room, Tammy? Well, not a lot yet. It's been kind of chilly. So today's a nice day. I'm hoping maybe after the broadcast I can get out there a little bit. But I'm sure glad it's done. It was a long haul, but I think we'll enjoy it a lot next spring and summer. Not so much now, but at least it's done. Hey, Jerry. Okay, so this is the box that the Loom came in. I know it's backwards, but that's what you get when you're looking for the Loom. It's this brand. This was made by Deb Moffat Hall, who came up with the idea, and then the beadsmith started carrying the Loom. So, hey, Deb. All right, so when you open up the package, this is what you get. You get this little pouch, and inside is a bunch of stuff. I haven't quite figured out all the different uses for some of this stuff. I've just got like the basics. So this is the Loom, and then on this side there are some stretch bands that the kit comes with. It comes with a little nail file, which I'm not really sure what that's for, but it does say so in the directions. But if you don't use it for your bracelets, you can use it for your fingers. It's looks like a little glass nail file. And then there are some little rubber bands that you put on the side of your Loom, and I'll show you how when we're putting that all together. And then this little zipper pouch that you can carry extra bands in. So that's in there. You can make different size bracelets. This is the Loom part. And from what I understood on the demos that I watched is that you use the little dowel rods that correspond with the size bracelet you want. But that's where I get confused, because in the demo that I watched, it said if you wanted a 7-inch bracelet, you use an 8-inch, the little dowels for the 8-inch bracelet. And then also stuck in here are a couple of dowels, different sizes, and it says ornament on here. So I'm not really sure what they mean by that. I didn't find any information on that. I don't know if you can make ornaments with this or what, but it seems kind of weird. Anyway, these are the two pieces that make the Loom, and then I'm going to take the 2.5 inch dowel. It says length for 8-inch bracelet, but I'm going to be using a 7-inch band. And I know that that's not very clear, or maybe I'm making it confusing, but that's what I understand it to be, that you use the dowel size one size larger than the bracelet you want. So I'm going to make a 7-inch bracelet. I've come to the conclusion that I like the black bands better than I like the clear, but I haven't really tried a whole lot of different color or different bead combinations, but so far I'm tending to like the ones with the black bands. So you can buy extra bands. The Beadsmith puts these out as well, and they come in 10 packs or they come in 50 packs. And if you find that you really like doing this, you're probably much better off buying the 50 pack, because depending on the size bracelet you're making, you could use 5 or 6 of these in one shot. And these packages here only carry 10 bands in each pack. So the 50 pack might be a better value for you if you like it. And they also come in 6, 7, and 8-inch bands. So I am going to, well, actually, let me backtrack on that. The 7-inch bands in this package, there's 10 of them. But in the 8-inch bands, there's only 6 of them. So I'm not sure why they package them that way, but that's what they do. And it's the same for the clear. So I didn't buy any 6-inch bands because my wrist isn't that small. So let me see. Deb says, is the extra length if you're using a clasp? I don't know. I don't know how you would use a clasp with this. So, hey, Mish. Yeah, I'm glad you caught me live. Hi, Susan. Hi, Patty. Hi, Mary. Okay, so what I'll do is, like, I'm no expert on this, but I'll show you what I've made so far. And I like doing it. It's really fun and it's relaxing. And you can do lots of different styles. Like here's one with 5 bands. There's 5 bands on here, but this has different beads in it. The one that we're going to do today is just like a real basic bead. Well, it's a bead mix, but these are just 6/0 seed beads. And this one also has 5 bands, but the configuration of beads, the spacing of the beads is a little bit different. And then this one is just 2 bands wide. And this, they kind of say that they're like little bangles, and you could wear multiples of these if you wanted to do that. So that's a thought. This doesn't take hardly any time at all to make with the 2s. The more different beads that you bring in, it takes a little bit longer to do that. But actually, it's a pretty quick project. Yeah, Deb, yeah, these are the Picasso beads. You knew that. I love them. The 6/0 Picasso beads. If you can get them, a lot of times they call them 3-cut in the Picasso. Those are real nice. And they fit really nicely. They do buckle a little bit when you're not wearing them. At least mine do. So maybe I'm not doing something quite right, but I think I am. But when you have them on, they look fine. They don't buckle at all. And these are great. The stretchy is great because I think these bands are pretty durable, and it's really nice for people who don't like to fool around with clasps, and for people like elderly people to get them on and off is real simple. This one I made with 4mm fire polish beads, and it has size 11/0 seed beads in here, and then these little 4-hole honeycomb beads are in here as well. And I discovered after I was playing around with these after they were finished, there were a few beads that weren't sitting down quite right. And I kind of inspected it closer and I realized I had skipped a thread. So I went back in there with a needle and thread and fixed that. It's easy to do when you're working with dark thread and dark bands. It's easy to miss that. So anyway, these are kind of fun. I like doing it. They're portable. You can take it if you're traveling and you want to do something, keep busy and do something. This doesn't require much in the way of supplies. All right, so that's that. All right. So I am going to make, oh, and let me talk about some of the other things that you're going to need. On my tray here, I have a big eye needle. These, they come in variety. You can get different brands. This is the Beadsmith big eye needle, and you don't have to use one of these. You could use a number 10 beading needle if you wanted, but I kind of like the fact that you can open these up. They just slide open. Well, you pry them open with your thumbnails, and you have a big hole there. The whole length of the needle is a hole, so you can slip your thread in there real easily, and you don't have to worry about going through the eye of the needle. As far as threads go, I am using Eslon D, and I think all you'll need is either black or white, depending on which kind of bands, which color bands you pick out. So far, like I said, I had started one in the clear bands, and I just really didn't like, I could see that clear in between, but it might have been my choice of beads wasn't so great. So I took it apart and I did it over in black thread. And I am going to show you also, because I think it'll take too long to do a whole bracelet during the demo time, but I've got one where I stopped, and this is part of the process. You stop when you have about an inch or so. This, I know this is a little bit less than an inch. This is more like half an inch, but you have to let this elastic rest after you get to a certain point, which would be about an inch left of your beads. So you let that the stretchy bands kind of relax. You give them that time before you finish your beads, and that helps somewhat as far as where I was showing you where the stuff puckers up a little bit. So that is that's one we'll work on a little bit later to show you how to finish it off. I have an assortment of size 6 seed beads. I have some of the Picassos and then just some of the standard seed beads, and I'm going to make a bracelet with that. So when you put your loom together, that's all you're doing. You determine the size that you want of the dowels and just push them in there. And then on the sides, now they give you all these rubber bands to, they say it helps keep the loom together from coming apart, but I really didn't have any of that issue. But I'm going to put them on here anyway, just because they say you need them. Now, this is another thing that they give you in the kit are these tension rods. And those, if you're going to use them, you put them along the side here, but I didn't find any need for them. And I watched the demo by one of the, it's Leslie Rogalski. She does a lot of stuff for the Beadsmith, and she didn't use the tension rod, so I didn't either. So I don't know. If you want to investigate that a little bit more, you certainly can. And if you find out something that I don't know, please pass it along, because I certainly don't know everything. All right, so when I'm going to take my thread, I'm going to use, it depends on how much thread you're comfortable working with. I'm going to use like 2 arm spans or wing spans, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to stretch my arms out. I know you can't see it, but I'm going to stretch my arms out as far as they go, and then I'm going to do it one more time. So it's basically about 2 yards, something like that. And then cut off the thread. Now that might be way too much thread for you to work with, but I would rather not start and stop, to add more thread if I don't have to. So I'm just going to thread that big eye needle, and you tie on, yeah, that's a long length of string here. You tie on, oh, first you got to put your bands on. So I'm getting the 7-inch bands, and I'm going to use 5 of these, and I will try to explain as I go. This would, even though that these are elastic, this is what you would call the warp thread here. And we'll put all 5 on. And they'll sit in the right place as you start to put the beads on. The important thing here is to not crisscross your bands. Just make sure that they're straight. Okay, and then you're going to take your thread at the very end, and if you're right-handed, you're going to tie the thread onto the very left warp band here. You're just going to tie this on, and I'm going to leave maybe 4 inches of a tail, and just tie that on. Just give it a little tug. It's just a simple knot. It's not like a double knot. If you were left-handed, you would tie your knot on the right side. Okay, so then you arrange your beads whatever color scheme you want. Let me get these out of my way here, because I didn't think that out very well. Okay, I just have a little pile of 4 colors of beads. And these kind of move around until you start going. Now, this little end tail, the tail end, gets in my way. So I'm just going to take a little piece of Scotch tape and push him down there so I don't try to pick that one up, so it doesn't interfere and get in my way. All right. Let me find my needle end. Okay. Now, when you load the beads, I've got my thread on, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go under all of these bands and pull my thread through. Okay, so the thread is under. Then I'm going to decide what order I want to pick these up in. So I've got oh no, that's not right, Sue. Okay. Where's my other thing here? No, I want 6 beads across. That's what I want. Or do I? Or do I? I think we'll go for this one here. So in this case, I only need 3 bands. I'm sorry. We'll get you more confused than I am. All right, so I'll get rid of those. So I'm just going to do the 3 bands for the demo. All right, so I've got my thread under the bands. Move these over a little bit, and I'm going to pick up. Okay, I am going to pick up, let's just say a green, a purple, a white, and a bronze. And I'm going to bring my beads all the way down. And I'm going to push them up with my finger, if you can see that. I push them up so that they're rest right against the elastic. And I've got 2 beads in between these 2 bands and 2 beads in between these 2. Can you guys see well enough? I might need to raise this up a little bit. Let's see if this will work better. All right. So I'm pushing. Once you get going, it's really simple. So I've got the 2 beads in between these 2 threads and 2 beads in between those. And my thread is below the beads. So now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go above the rubber bands and push them all the way through, put the needle all the way through. And I'm going to keep my finger there so the beads don't move while I'm doing this. Okay, now, so that first row is on. Now you don't want to pull, how am I going to do this? You don't want to pull on the cord. You don't want to tighten it. You want it to just be on there. You know, your instinct, or at least mine is to kind of pull and make sure that that's seated, that they're in there, but don't do that because that just makes it even all the more warpy. Now I'm going to take my needle and go back under all 3 cords or 3 bands, pull my thread through, and I'm going to load the next choice, or the next line of beads. Okay, so bring those in. Okay, so I'm propping those up so that the 4 beads, the 2 beads on each side, are in between those bands. Thread is under, so now I'm going to go over, and that locks those beads in place right there. And then you bring your thread under again. Always bring your thread under from the left if you're a righty, or from the right if you're a lefty. And then I'm trying to vary the colors just a little bit, and it takes my brain a minute to figure that out. Deb, can you use any finger? I suppose whatever is comfortable for you under there, honey. Okay, so I'm bringing that next row of beads up, and nestle them in between those bands, and then I'm going over the elastic bands through the top of the bead. All right, bring my thread back under. You could pick up your beads at the same time, really. I don't know why I didn't do that. And where's my other beads? Here they are. Okay. You can use, you know, I haven't tried it with any other, like size 11 or 8s. 11 might be too tiny, but I suppose you really could do it. But I haven't really experimented that much with them yet. So I'm bringing these 2 up again, or these 4 up. The thread is under the elastic band, and now the thread is going over. You don't want to use thread like Fireline or Wildfire. Those have a tendency to cut into the rubber or to the elastic over time. So you want to make sure you use something like the Eslon or Nymo D. Those are good choices for this technique. But this is something that you can do in the evening to relax if you're doing other, you know, work that you have to be in your studio. And, you know, this is more of a relaxing technique. And it's also very portable. You can take it wherever you're going. Now make sure when you go through these beads on the top that you are actually, in fact, going over the bands. Sometimes it's easy to skip one. I don't know how to explain that, but it can happen where your thread doesn't cover those little elastic bands, and that's where I said that you'll find a bead that pops up, and if you look a little bit more closely, you'll find that you skipped over one of those elastic bands. Let me see here. Mish says, this brings back memories of when I did traditional loom work more than 40 years ago. Those were never fun to finish. This setup is so clean. Yes, it is. It makes it, I don't know, it's just very, very easy and gratifying. Deb says, weaving was the only rabbit hole I went down and exited pretty fast. So much work. Yeah, it depends. But I mean, this little system makes it pretty darn, it's pretty slick. Pretty easy. I always wish that I was the one who figured stuff out, but I don't. I let other people do that. Oh, and make sure you put anything that you can catch your thread on way away from you, because inevitably you will get your thread caught up in it like I just did. All right, so I'm bringing those beads up. I mean, this is strictly, I mean, really repetitive from here on in, but and always make sure too, I mean, every once in a while make sure that you didn't that you don't have any threads showing, like if you skipped beads, and then you can see the thread will be showing through. Fortunately on this I haven't had that happen, but in other projects, I have had that happen, and it's no fun because then you've got to take stuff apart if you don't want that thread to be showing, and you shouldn't want that thread to be showing. So I'll do a few more rows of this, and then I'll show you how I finish it up, and then we can talk about some other setups for the different patterns. I also have my regular handout, which is going over what I'm doing right now, these steps, but also the Beadsmith put out a instruction handout for the ones with the honeycomb beads, which is kind of nice. It's it was a PDF file. I'll show you that. The Beadsmith has, let's see, can you see that? The Beadsmith has, if you go to, beadsmith.com, it's really a place where people that have accounts can only buy from there. But they have, at the top of their page, they'll have this I Love Beads, and it has a bunch of different kinds of beads shown on that. And if you click on those particular beads, it brings up patterns that you can make different projects with those particular beads, and those are free and you can download them. I've got the link for this one, so I will put that up when I put my regular handout out later on. All right, let's see here. So you can get lots of free resources out there too. And YouTube. YouTube always has lots of good stuff. Let's see here. Hi, Suzanne. Beautiful day on this side of the ocean. Yes, Suzanne's out in Australia. Or are you in New Zealand now? Are you back in New Zealand or not? Hi, Dina. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see here. So I suppose you could make all kinds of different patterns depending on how your brain works, if you wanted to get fancy or whatever. I'm just happy if I can get a bracelet made. I kind of like this color combination. I wasn't really sure what to do a different one. I tend to go to blue mostly. I do a lot of stuff in blues and tans. But this is kind of fun. This has got like a dark purple and an olive green and a cream and a bronze. And I kind of like the way this looks. I don't know if you can see that color so much but on the screen, but it's pretty. And when I get this done, I'll post it on the group page. But I want to get a few of these to show you how you maneuver around a little bit once you start getting some length. Purple, let's see, purple and then green. And a couple of the first bracelets I did, I really didn't pay too much attention to the pattern, but it's kind of nice when you don't have clumps of one color and then no colors. I don't know if I said that right, but you get a concentrated patch of colors instead of having them more spread out. All right. But always keep a finger under there to lift those beads up so that you're making sure you're going through the top. And as you move, as you fill up this space, then you just kind of pick it up and move it around a little bit. And at some point I'll have to take the tape off of the tail and move that as well. because that might hold me up, hold the bands from moving, I mean. All right. Green, purple, white, and bronze. Still in Australia. Okay. Alrighty. I've really been enjoying your plants, the photos of your plants, Suzanne. They are so beautiful. Those poppies that you posted yesterday are so beautiful. And then back under. This is really a simple project. And I'm thinking, you know, that the supplies right now aren't as readily available. I'm not sure what the reasoning is for that. But I looked on Amazon and they didn't have any looms available right now. And I don't know why that is. And also the beadsmith doesn't have any looms available right now. And a very limited number of replacement bands. I'm not sure what's up with that. However, you can go to Deb Moffat Hall's website, the creator of this loom. You can go to her website and she does have all the supplies there. So, you know, that's another place that you can get them. And I may need to do that for more stretch bands. Michael's, I looked online yesterday and I looked at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and Joann's. And Joann was the only one that had looms available. They didn't have, I mean, they had them in the store. So my friend Carol, who's watching here, she reported back to me and said that they had, like, in our local store, they had like 5 looms available. And online, they didn't have, well, let me take that back. Michael's online and Hobby Lobby online did not carry the endless loom at all. And Joann's did have them in the store. So I imagine they would have them as online as well. But I didn't look. So, so if you live near a Joann store, you might be able to pick one up. You could call first to make sure that they have it before you make a trip, or you could order them from Deb Moffat Hall, like Dawn is just saying here. Hi, Dawn. She picked hers up. She ordered it online from Deb Moffat Hall. So that's always a good thing to know where you can get this stuff. Because, man, I hate that when I show something and then you want to buy it and and then you can't find the product. I know this has been out for a while. This has been out for a number of years, probably 5 or 6 years at least. And I had never really gotten into it. And one of the gals in my beading group had one of these bracelets on, and she was telling me about it. And she said, you might like to find out about this. And so I was able to order a kit from the beadsmith, and now, right now, they don't have them. They're just out of stock, but a lot of times things take a while, you know, to get them back in. So, you know, hopefully you'll be able to get a kit somewhere if you'd like to try doing this. It's hard to talk and think at the same time. Or work and talk and think. That's 3 things. All right. All right. So, you just keep going along. The bracelet with the honeycomb beads, Though that took me a while. That took me several hours to get that one done. That one was a little bit more work, and I had to really pay attention to it. And it's got the different size beads, and I enjoy doing it. It's just it took a little bit longer than say something like this. I really like this color combination. I don't know if you can see that very well on the screen or not. Okay, Deb says she got her loom online from Joann's. Ours didn't have any in store, saved 20% and got $1.99 shipping. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, the one thing about, shopping at Joann's or Michael's, or a place like that, is a lot of times they offer 25% off coupons, and and that's really good. That is really good because all this stuff can cost a lot of dough. Let's see here. All right, I'm just going to do another row or two of this, and then we'll take this one off the loom, and I'll put the other one that needs to be finished on there so that you can see that. But you can see that's a lot of thread. Now, if I needed to change threads, on here at some point, I would leave myself a few inches of thread, maybe 6 inches of thread, and then I would tie on, say my thread ended right here, okay? Then I would take another length of thread and I would tie them together, knot it, and then keep going, cut off the tail. I guess I should just do it, and then that way you can see what I'm talking about, possibly. Mish, how long have I been teaching? Longer than I'd care to admit, because of the way I stumble on my words sometimes. But I've been teaching for probably 15 years, maybe, teaching. I want to say that. But, on different things. Always different things. Because I get bored with doing the same stuff all the time. So I like to switch things out. And sometimes, it's a good long while before I get back to a certain technique, and it takes me a little while to get it worked out again. But some things you just never forget either. So you just kind of pick it up, just like riding a bike, you just don't forget. Like chainmail is one of those things to me. It's like you just don't forget. I'll see that, so I'm going to loosen my tape up here and move this around. Well, actually I'll take this one off of the loom. So you can just pull that off. You don't have to worry about it. There's how much I've done so far. That's a pretty good size piece. All right, so I'm going to put this over to the side. Get that one out of my way, and then I'm going to bring this one back up. Where I left off here. That's my tail. Take that tail down out of my way. Get my needle back. Get my beads for this one. Oh, thanks, Deb. Yeah, I'm sure there's other uses for this endless loom. It's not just doing this particular bracelet. So I'm sure that's why they have other parts included in the kit, but I have not investigated those yet. So thank you for that, Deb. But I'll tell you, for this kind of a bracelet, no clasp is good with, or is fine with me. But that would not be a stretchy bracelet then. That would just be a regular non-stretchy bracelet, right, Deb? I don't know how you could do that with a stretchy. So, all right. So this one, to finish this up, I am putting my thread underneath my beads here and grab the colors that I need. That was one too many of that. Yeah, there's a bunch of different kinds of looms out there. I've tried a few other ones, but it's not my first love. I mean, I like it as something different to do once in a while. This is a nice evening project to me, a relaxing project. Okay. Bring those down. I'm getting into the home stretch here. And as you get close to the end, you only want to put as many, don't try to cram extra rows in. That's another thing that will bunch up your bracelet if you actually have too many rows of beads in there. And see, that's going to fit just nice to get one more row in there. Okay. Sometimes, you know, these beads are supposed to be all uniform, and for the most part they are, but every once in a while you get something that's kind of a little bit larger or skinnier than some of the others. Okay. So that goes over. All right. And then we're back to where the starting thread was, right here. But I didn't leave enough tail on this. I don't know why I didn't do that. But I'm going to go through, just to secure this, I'm going to go back under this last row that I just put in there. I'm going to go through under, and then I'm going to just bring that thread back over to here, to that first starting row where my tail end is. And I'm going to knot it, tie a knot, and then I'm going to take my needle and go through the top here. I'm just going to run it through another row. You don't have to do this, but I feel better about it. And then this dumb little thread that I should have made longer, I'm going to snip this long one off here. Okay. And then this one theoretically should go back under here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to catch that on my, I don't know, I'll try to get it on the needle and see if I can get it back in, just to tuck it in there. You don't need any glue or anything like that. If you feel better about adding a little drop of glue, you can do that, but you really shouldn't need it. I'm just going to pull that through. And then snip that off. Now there you go. And Bob's your uncle. All right, I can see I need to snip this thread off. It came out from that inside there. That's no big deal. Just because the knot is secure. Okay. This one's a little bit larger. So that one, it would fit on a little bit larger wrist a little bit better. This one's a little bit buckly. I love this color combination. This is kind of an aqua blue, like a, well, like a deep, it's not really aqua. It's like a translucent turquoise, maybe. There's probably another name for it. But that with tan, I just love that. So this was 3 bands and 4 beads. So there's 2 beads on either side of the center band, okay? And then, oh, my snack mix. I'm raising my table here. Then the others, where did I put them? Okay. All right, so now I have a bunch of pretty little beads here. So if you wanted to do the 2-row, this one here, it's just 2 bands and 2 beads. How long are the bands? They come in different sizes. They come in 8-inch. Now they say that, oh, this should make an 8-inch bracelet. This, I get confused with these. So, I mean, if your brain can wrap around this a little bit better, all power to you. But they come in 6, 7, and 8, as far as I know. Those are the only sizes. And these are 7-inch bands that I'm using right here. And you just put them on real simply. You just want to make sure that they're not twisted, crisscrossed, or anything like that. And if it was going to do the two bands right here, I mean the single skinny, what they call a bangle bracelet or a stacking bracelet, that's all you need is the 2. And then you're just going to go 2 beads across all the way down. And I think I said this already. With this one, this is 5 bands across. This is also 5 bands across, but it's the difference is the kinds of beads, the sizes of the different kinds of beads that you're using. These, Tammy, are you referring to these beads or these that are on here? These that are on here, these are Picasso 3-cut beads, so they are a little bit different shape. They have like little slants on the ends of them. I don't know that you can see it, but they're not totally round. They have like little I don't know, they're little flat sides on some of these, on these Picassos. Whereas a straight 6/0 bead, they're totally round. There's no little flat spots on the sides. I really like the 3-cut Picasso 6/0 beads, but you can mostly find the straight round ones. You can find them a lot more often. I hope that answered that. Yeah. And then there are all kinds of different check beads that you can use. Like I said, the fire polish, these are 4mm fire polish beads right here. They call them round fire polish, but they're really a little bit more ovally than they are rounded, but they're called round beads. And then the 11/0 seed beads, the little tiny ones, and these are the honeycomb. The honeycomb beads have 4 holes in them. This is a strand of them right here. So they have 4 holes in them. But the designers, who make up these patterns, they they figure all these different sizes, what works with what, and this is on the instructions that I'm going to be including with my regular handout on here. These are a lot more thorough, but these people who design these patterns, they really get into all the different shapes and what's going to fit between the spaces. So you know that that's going to work out. All right. Yeah, the one I didn't have a lot of different honeycomb colors and things that would go together, but I thought that wasn't too bad. The 6/0, I mean the 4mm check fire polish kind of pick up, or I should say maybe the honeycomb kind of pick up the colors in the fire polish. So that's kind of a fun thing. This is a dressier, I would say this is a dressier bracelet. But I would imagine you could wear it, dress it up or dress down, I don't know, but it's pretty sparkly. So that's all I've been doing, is just a few of these, because I'm running out of stuff to show you guys. and I thought this is another project that's kind of fun and portable. I had taken this with me when we drove to South Carolina several weeks ago, and it's very doable. Except, if you have like 3 feet of string, it might be a little hard when you're a passenger in the car, but it's certainly a nice thing to do in the evenings when you want to relax. So I don't know if I've got anything else to tell you about this, other than giving it a try and seeing what you like. Excuse me, I'm gonna get a little sip here. I'm sure there's lots more to discover. And Deb, you said you were sending me something for the clasp, the bracelet with the clasp. That'll be interesting to figure that out as well, because I know there has to be more to it than and you can even see it on the box. You can even see on the box they've got different patterns. Oh yeah, this one has a clasp on it right here. So there's more to it, but I didn't investigate it any further than the stretch bracelets, because that appealed to me. I thought that's kind of neat, especially for older people. If you have gifts that that you need to give to someone that's a little more elderly, that has trouble getting clasps on and off, that would really be, I'm sure that would really be appreciated by those people. So, but I think they're fun. All right. Hey, Wendy. Hi, Renee. Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, and I haven't been doing that this very long. So I've only done, what I'm showing you here. And I may play with more of them as time goes by. Try to do one with the clasp, maybe. Or maybe a few different stackable ones. Although, I don't know. I think trying some different beads would be interesting. So, all right. I don't know what I'm going to do next time. I'm really not sure, but I do know that I'm going to have to change that date 2 weeks from today. I'm not going to be able to do it on Tuesday because it's Grandparents' Day, and I definitely have to do that. But I may do it on Monday or Wednesday that week. So I'll let you guys know, so. All right, guys, I will post the handout and the additional pattern and a few links for some of the stuff on the group page in just a few minutes. Okay, so thanks for being with me. And if you make some of these or find your supplies different places, let me know so that way everybody can get in on it. And I'll see you guys later. All right, take care. Bye-bye.